Julius Randle, Teak, we officially have an issue with Mr. Randle, which we'll get to. Also, step 2 for the Jets in the rebuild. We'll extensively jump into gangrene. I can't let Tiki's Giants dominate the show, although we're going to start with the Giants because there's still no resolution, partner. What's happening?
What's more interesting, the Jets having it figured out a little bit going into the offseason and some optimism with your head coach and your offensive coordinator, obviously your quarterback as well, just a couple of top first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
Looks like you're going in the right direction.
Here we go.
Or the drama that is the New York Giants.
Drama sells. You know the story.
Exactly.
Man, you lived it when you were playing.
That's why we're talking about the Giants again and not the Jets. I promise you we won't go 4 hours.
No, we're not. I'm not going to let you go 4 hours. Yesterday, I had very little. My hand was barely on the steering wheel, and I get it. Today, we're doing Jets.
I tried to get it in a little bit, talking about, hey, you upset about the Seahawks winning and the Jets moving down to 10 as opposed to whatever they were going to be?
Yeah, you did throw me a courtesy bone.
I did. It didn't last long.
What a great partner. He at least gave me 20 seconds. Thank you, dude. Listen, there's a lot of things to encapsulate, or at least try to, what has been an incredibly confusing and irritating, confounding couple of years, really half a decade for the Giants. But here's my jump-off point, all right? And there's still a lot of meat on the bone with Mara, which we'll get to. And I ask this in all seriousness. Who the hell does Joe Judge think he is? Joe Judge is so brazen to the point. This guy's got the stones to ask to actually have say who's hired as the GM.
Well,
he's lucky he's got a job.
Let me be a devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
And I agree with you, but let me be a devil's advocate for a second. If Joe Judge wants to be a great head coach, there's a couple of things that need to happen. One, he needs to improve his staff. We've talked about that ad nauseum since we've got on air here at WFAN. So that's a given. That's going to happen. Number two, he has to upgrade some of this roster. Certain positions, you probably need another guard. You need to, do right in free agency. You don't want to overspend for certain positions, say wide receiver like you did this past offseason.
So don't do it again.
Right, exactly. You want to have a say. If you're Joe Judge, you want to have a say in what your staff is going to look like, which I don't know if I trust him to do that, but have what his staff is going to look like and what his roster is going to look like and what kind of players he wants on his roster. And so while I'm not saying he needs Bill Belichick-esque control, as a devil's advocate in this moment, doesn't it behoove the Giants to give him somewhat of a say so he can get the kind of guy that he wants here? Because look, we know
that's a tough sell, buddy. But keep going.
BT, we know that this happens. This happens with every coach who comes in and wants to change culture, use that as a cliche, and put his stamp on an organization. This happened with Coach Coughlin when he came to the Giants back in 2004. There were a lot of guys that were no longer on the team after a year or 2 years because they weren't his type of guy or couldn't fit into what he was espousing. You know what I mean?
Tell everybody real fast what Mr. Maris said. Look to your left, look to your right.
Yeah. This was the greatest story. When Jim Fossil got fired, he didn't really get fired. He kind of got allowed to finish the season.
Like Gettleman.
Exactly. And I love Jim, so he obviously passed away earlier this year. He may rest in peace. But it was one of the most unique firings you could ever imagine. He comes into a meeting, I think it was like week 13, something around then, whatever it was. We knew it was over. Everybody knew it was over. Just like, all right, when's Coach going to get fired? He comes in the meeting and says, I'm not going to be here next year, type of thing. We're going to finish out the season. We're going to finish out the season strong. And you're sitting there like, what? What does that even mean? And then he said, we're going to have Wellington Mara say some words to you guys. And Wellington gets up and he's very short on words. He doesn't
very economical.
Exactly. He doesn't over pontificate. He's just kind of like, we got to be better than this, and there's consequences, and we want to build a winner here. But the reality is, turnover is going to happen. So look to your left, look to your right. 2 of you aren't going to be here. It was like, so there's 3 people. Everybody, look to your left, look to your right. 2 of you guys aren't going to be here.
But who are you sitting next to? Weren't you sitting next to Amani?
I was sitting next to Amani and Ike.
So you guys are good.
So I was like, all right, I know all 3 of us are going to be here. Like 2 of these other groups of 3, y'all are screwed.
You're in
y'all
trouble.
All gone.
That is awesome.
But yeah, that's what happens. And when you get a new coach in, you kind of need to have some say. I'm not saying like you, I'm not saying I trust Joe Judge to do that.
No.
But I can understand why he would want to have some control.
Oh, listen, and I can understand why I asked for a Mike Francesa contract when we were hired here at WFAN with 12 weeks of vacation, making millions of dollars. They said, no, not happening.
12 weeks of vacation?
Oh, he was. How many weeks of forever? He was off the whole summer.
You'd leave me here by myself?
4 months?
That much?
No, because you would have gotten the same deal.
That's all right.
We're a team.
Yeah, but then somebody else would have taken over our show.
No, they would have taken it over when we were gone, like Joe and Evan used to do for Francesa, even though Joe hated it because all Joe wanted to do was be on the first tee. Listen, there's a lot of things in life that we want. I don't want it to be 18 degrees today, shivering as I walk to the studio, but it is because we live in the Northeast. So, again, here's my issue. There's the macro element and then there's the micro element, and I think what I'm going to bring up now actually taps into both. I understand. And by the way, let me say this. I like the general manager list the Giants are constructing.
Dude, I'm telling you, people listen to this show.
Well, of course they do. It's WFAN.
I'm just saying. Yesterday, we had a caller call in and talk about the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if he was just randomly throwing out the Arizona Cardinals, but it's like, let me go look at the Arizona Cardinals front office. Yesterday, we talked specifically about Adrian Wilson, who was an all-pro defensive back. I remember playing against him in Arizona. I didn't realize he was in their front office. I'm like, yeah, this is what it should be like. Get a former player who understands it. We get home last night. I sent you a text in the middle of the night, wherever it was. I was watching the national championship game. Adrian Wilson requested an interview from the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
We say it, it happens.
Hey, listen, just like I had to light up Barrett, and Barrett, the game-winning dagger, drops 31 points last night. We said, hey, Randall, you better apologize. He apologized. So, listen, there's an early juice to the show here. When something is said, it usually has. So maybe if we keep saying that we deserve Francesa money, maybe that's going to actually come to fruition, too.
Everybody's listening or adhering to what we're saying except for Spike and Oliveira.
And by the way, it's funny. I got a lot of tweets about this, and I was talking to Hoff about this. I don't know if he would do it, and we're in the Mike Francesa studio. I want to get Mike on for a segment this week. I don't know if he'll do it.
I would love to have him on.
I don't know if he'll do it. I want to have Mike on for, 10, 12 minutes and get his thoughts on the G-Men. I think that the audience would appreciate that.
You going to berate him?
I'm not going to berate him.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
We already had our battle. We're done past the beration stage. We're cool now. Again, he might start picking on you. I can't speak to that because you guys even had your battle. He's had battles with everybody. Bottom line is this. I understand that you have to construct the list properly. It's going to take time. Not going to happen overnight. You've got to do your due diligence, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like the Giants are doing that. And I appreciate it. It seems to me, if you said, hey, make a prediction, I don't think Abrams is getting this job.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a good thing for the Giants.
Okay. I would agree.
We need an outside voice. They need an outside voice. Everybody wants an outside voice. No diss on Abrams, but they're in salary cap hell, and Abrams has been largely responsible for that. So I don't know why he would deserve the elevation. The thing about Judge, and this would worry me, all right, you want to bring him back. I'm not going to scream for the next 3 months that he should be fired. I mean, he's either back or he's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be back. You don't think he should be back. All good. 90% of Giant fans don't think he should be back. But if they go through a somewhat elongated process of finding a GM, and then the GM says, you know what, I'm going to roll with Joe for 1 year, like Joe Douglas did with Gase, who the hell is he going to hire on his coaching staff?
Yeah,
they're all going to be gone.
That's the hard thing. And it's interesting because I did the Urban Meyer game early, the Jaguars, right after that scandal.
Yes.
And
yes. So you didn't go out with him for shots, did you?
No, I didn't.
Man, I didn't. I would have.
No, it's COVID.
Guy seems like he knows how to have a good time.
Yeah, no, he does.
Oh, we're going to go out with Urban tonight. All right, man. What's up? Where are we going?
That's the sneaky side of Urban that nobody talks about.
What?
He knows how to party.
Oh, yeah, he does. I mean, yeah, he does.
So, but anyways, I have some friends on that staff via my brother. And so when that all happened, I reached out to a couple of those guys. And it was like, all right, tell me what's really going on. Like, tell me the real story that you guys are feeling towards your head coach. And the first thing he said to me was, we're trying to hold on to our jobs. Because if he's gone, that means we're all gone. So to your point, you're absolutely right. It makes it really hard to hire assistants, new assistants, because you knew that's going to happen with the New York Giants this year.
Better.
If your coach is a lame duck. Now, I think the reason that the Giants haven't come out and made a formal statement, right? They put the story out yesterday. It happened while we were on air about Dave Gettleman's retirement, and they were saying they're going to hire a GM, do an extensive search. He's going to get it right. He's going to have control over all these things, including coaching. I think the reason the Giants haven't made it official that Joe Judge is back is that they're actually doing the right thing by letting the GM, whoever that may be coming forward, determine who the head coach is.
Which I like, but again, if the new GM says, I'm going to stick with Joe one more year, who are you hiring that's worth anything?
That's hard.
They need coaches.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's where, like, they're halfway in the right direction.
Isn't the writing on the wall then?
Maybe he's gone, man. I mean, maybe this thing's going to flip. I'm serious, too.
Right.
I mean, the more I think about this, the more I think there's a chance Joe Judge will not be back.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, if you logically think through the next steps that have to happen for the New York Giants, hiring a general manager, determining who the head coach is, and if it is Joe Judge, hiring the assistants for Joe Judge, it doesn't work out to keep Joe Judge as the head coach. It doesn't make logical sense to have him keep his job.
I mean, you can hire Flores, and Flores can bring a few of his boys from Miami. Listen, maybe this thing's not done here. We'll see. 877-337-6666. Good Tuesday morning to you. Tiki and Tierney on the fan. Let's get the calls. Let's start in Lake Hoppa. I never say this right. Lake Hopatcong. How do you say that? I always say it.
Hapachong?
I always say it live.
How do you say that, Jeff?
I actually think I looked for a house there. I don't even know. Jeff is in Lake somewhere. What up, Jeff? How you doing today?
I'm good. Good talking to you guys.
Hey, man, what's happening? How do you say your lake up there?
Hopatcong. What?
Lake Hopatcong.
Hapatcong. Yes.
Jeez, that is.
I have a friend up there. I have a feeling Bill Strauss.
Billy Strauss?
Bill Strauss.
Oh, I know Billy Strauss.
Bill Strauss owns Mercedes dealerships.
Oh, maybe I need to get to know Billy.
He lives up that way. He's my good buddy.
It's cold up here today. It's minus 12.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's cold, man. What's happening,
Anyhow,
Jeff?
let's talk about this mess. We've got to remember, I'm a Judge supporter. I liked it when they took him in.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're not looking at what the Giants did by not releasing Gettleman 4 years ago. He made a mess of this team.
Oh, I mean, that would have been releasing him as soon as he got the job. So.
well, you know what? Absolutely.
In hindsight.
He screwed up our draft picks.
I see what you're saying. You're saying they shouldn't have hired him in the first place. Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Now, Judge, who I'm still not sure about, I think they're going to let him go, too, once they pick a new GM.
Mm-hmm.
But, that guy Gettleman screwed this entire team up. It started with the picks with Flowers. It started with the picks with this quarterback we have now, who I'm not sold on yet.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're right. Thank you for the call, Jeff. Appreciate you. But I think we talked about this yesterday. Dave Gettleman was brought into the Giants to fix the disaster that it was already becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was merited that he was hired because there's a familiarity that he had with this organization.
Sure.
He'd helped build multiple championships, not as the general manager, but as the player personnel executive, both with the Denver Broncos in 1997 and then obviously the two championships with the Giants in 07 and 11. And so he's not without
accomplishment.
Accomplishment
No, I agree.
And skill doing what he did. In fact, he built a pretty good team down in Carolina.
That's
now, it
right.
started to go south with the whole who was the defensive back? Why am I forgetting his name?
Who went to when he reneged or rescinded the contract?
Yeah, who was that?
Oh, geez, he got mushed in the face, didn't he?
Exactly.
Didn't he get stiff-armed by Derrick Henry?
Well, he did, but he also got into a fight with
hell is this
Odell
guy's
Beckham Jr. I can't remember his name.
Josh
Norman.
Josh Norman.
Yes. So he started to go south when he kind of was jacking around with Josh Norman down there in Carolina.
Hey, Hoff, anytime you see you struggling with a name, feel free to hop in.
Yeah.
Were you there, buddy?
Hoff had no
Coffee
idea.
hasn't kicked in yet, dude.
He had no idea either.
Look at Dove. He's on his phone. Dove's not even listening to the show. Hoff is worried about MMA and what he's going to do with that.
That's right.
Let's get Jason out in Bayshore, New York on the fan with Tiki and Tierney. What up, Jay?
Hello.
Hello, Jay.
Tiki, your self-description of a jacked Urkel was the funniest thing I've ever heard, I think.
BT said that.
I
said
just
that.
Owned it. Give me credit. Might be my only joke all year.
I just
jacked
claimed
Urkel.
I wish I had my glasses. By the way,
you did look like a jacked
Jason,
Urkel.
have you seen Urkel recently?
Yes, I have.
Jaleel White?
He's opening up a 420 friendly business.
Yes. But my point
got the buzz.
He's actually jacked.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said it.
Jaleel White now is jacked.
He always had a smoothness with the honey's back. You could tell he was going to be okay, even when he was a little.
He is pretty big now that you mention it.
It's funny.
What up, Jay?
All right, so actually about football now, the only person I don't want to be the GM for the Giants again this year is Twitter. Okay? Because I basically argued with all these people on Twitter who just talked about Adoree Jackson and Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
And then they go out and get them. right? And I'm like, where's our O-line? Where's our O-line? And people are like, shut up about the O-line. Even other shows on the fan were like, we don't want to hear your calls about no O-line on the Giants.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that the picks last year, even the last couple of years, were more geared towards fantasy football than real football.
I mean, you're joking, Jason, but you're not
Thanks for the
wrong
cold
in a way.
Well, first of all, Jason, your first mistake is engaging in Twitter battles.
True.
You want to talk about a waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, just sit down for 30 minutes and not verbally, but keyboard scrap it out with a bunch of clowns on with anonymity. Here's the best way to handle this. Somebody tweets me, and I don't understand why, and I really don't care, trust me. But for some reason, people, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, WFAN's account, our account, my personal account, I don't know why people care that I wear a hat in studio. Like, I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about that. And they say, Carton, Tierney, what are you wearing hats for in studio? I don't know, because I'm bold and I want to.
And it's cold in here.
It is a little chilly. And let me find this. So some guy tweets me yesterday, right?
And you responded. I'm assuming that's why you're bringing this
I'm just trying to find. Of course I responded.
Of course you did.
No, but the funny thing is the way I responded. And this is the way everybody should respond on social media. He wrote, let me see, there's a lot of stuff on the Giants here. This spot with Carl Banks.
You can't find it because you're tweeting too much.
Listen, you can never tweet too much, man.
I mean,
Jameson
did you just
Williams.
Say that?
Well, I mean, you can. No. Well, there's a
what you
difference
mean.
between engaging in Twitter battles.
I'm joking.
What the hell is? Oh, you know what? It might be under tweets and replies.
Of course it is. I mean, someone tweeted and you replied.
Where
else would it be?
I don't know, but for some reason on my timeline, my tweets, and my replies are all kind of thrown into one blender. And I don't know why.
So it's impossible to find.
And how do I delineate the two?
And Twitter is impossible to search.
Hold on, I'll find it.
I'm just telling you, Twitter's hard to search.
Oh, here it is. It's probably not going to be that funny. I wasted everybody's time. So some guy tweets me, says, WTF is up with this moron wearing a winter hat inside. He's trying to bite off Craig. Clown.
He's a Jets fan.
I don't know what he is.
Not a Washington football team fan, by the way.
Well, he's obviously not a Tierney fan, which is fine, or a hat fan. And I subtweet the guy.
He missed it.
Well, because I'm trying to just move on because it's really not that funny. And I subtweet the guy and I write, I completely agree. That Tierney dude is a clown. And he sucks on the air, too. Like, that's how you handle this. This is how you diffuse these morons who think they're tough with a keyboard.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
Yeah. Oh, why are they watching you? Can't they just listen to you?
Oh, I don't care. Well, I think the things that we put out with the visual element,
I see.
Which we do a great job. Izzo is phenomenal. Hoffman is on point with that. Even Dove jumps in with a couple of retweets. I see Dove jumping in there. What's up, Dove? How are you?
Good. How you doing? By the way, I'm also wearing a hat.
Yeah, but you wear that every day, buddy. Though that's for a religious element.
Exactly.
By
the way, the alter ego for Urkel was Stefan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stefan.
Call me Stefan.
This just sounds like a smooth name. Stefan.
He was smooth.
I know. I agree with you.
Stefan was smooth.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. By the way, I just saw something on social media that Giant fans are going to go nuts about in a good way. We'll tell you what it is coming up next. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan.